In the heart of the city, just before dusk, the streets buzzed with people heading home. Justice Jeremiah Banks walked alone, his polished shoes clicking softly on the pavement. He nodded to the street vendor, offered a polite smile to the crossing guard. Calm, composed, and unaware of what fate was about to unfold. Across the street, Officer Brent's eyes locked on Jeremiah. He leaned forward, narrowed his eyes. Dressed like that, what's he hiding? The judgment was instant, the assumption automatic. Let me see some ID, Brent demanded. Jeremiah paused, looked him in the eye. Is there a problem, officer? His voice was steady, respectful, but unwavering. Brent's grip tightened on his belt. Jeremiah reached into his coat slowly. Brent reacted violently, grabbing his arm and pushing him back. The crowd's murmurs began. Phones came out. Tension thickened the air. Brent cuffed him with force. You think you're better than me? Jeremiah didn't resist. He stood tall, even as his rights were trampled. That's not for you to decide, he whispered. Inside the cruiser, Brent mocked him. All dressed up for nothing. Jeremiah stared out the window, the city lights reflecting in his glasses. I wear this for dignity, he replied, voice calm. The cold walls echoed silence. Jeremiah sat alone, hands folded, head high. Another officer, Dana, read the booking report. Her eyes widened. Dana burst into Brent's office. You arrested Jeremiah Banks? The federal judge? Brent's face paled. The name hit him like thunder. Brent stared at the photo. I didn't know, he muttered. But the world already did. That night, news feeds erupted. Black Supreme Court nominee arrested without cause. The world reacted in disbelief and rage. By morning, hashtags lit up every feed. Justice for Jeremiah. Videos flooded the net. People demanded accountability. No one could believe it. This was no ordinary man. This was a Supreme Court nominee. Mayor Delgado stood before reporters, her voice shaking with rage. This is unacceptable. Judge Banks has given decades of his life to this city. We failed him. Before the courtroom, he spent Saturdays at the youth center, reading stories, teaching kids respect, changing lives, one conversation at a time. One of those children saw the footage. That's the man who taught me how to tie a tie, he told the local news. He told me I was worth something. Officer Brent was removed from duty pending investigation. But the damage was done. His name trended too, under a very different light. Dana stared at the booking photo. She had almost ignored him too. Almost. That thought haunted her. Jeremiah didn't speak as they unlocked the door. The room was silent. The world was watching. He stepped outside to flashing lights, microphones, and silence. He adjusted his suit, took a breath, and nodded. Judge Jeremiah Banks, the anchor said, arrested without cause. A reminder that dignity doesn't stop bullets or badges. I wasn't silent because I was afraid, he said. I was silent because I knew the truth would speak louder than I ever could. The courtroom fell silent as he entered. not as a victim, but as a judge. His gavel struck not with anger, but with truth. Irony hit hard as Brent faced a tribunal. The man he humiliated now presided in silence, impartial and unwavering. Thousands gathered outside of the courthouse, not in anger, but in honor. "We stand with Banks" echoed through the streets. He opened a handwritten note from a young man in prison. "You fought for me before I knew my worth. Now I fight to be better." At a press conference, Brent shook. "I judged a man by his skin, and he judged me by my actions. He was the better man." Jeremiah led a discussion on justice and accountability. No anger, just vision. "We can change the system by becoming the system," he said. As a child, he once stood where Brent did, accused for no reason. His father's voice echoed, "Stand tall, even when they kneel on your name." A street was renamed Justice Banks Boulevard, but he declined to speak. "Let others use the voice I earned," he smiled. He took one final case before retirement. A young boy falsely accused. Jeremiah saw himself, and he gave him a second chance. At home, alone, Jeremiah polished his pocket watch. He looked in the mirror, not at a judge, but at a man who never let go of grace. A corner of the city's Justice Museum now held his robe, his gavel, and his story. But the plaque simply read, "A man of quiet revolution." Brent stood outside Jeremiah's office. "You gave me more than I gave you," he whispered. "You gave me clarity." The barbershop buzzed as he entered. The room fell silent. Then a boy shouted, "Judge Banks!" And the shop erupted in cheers. "Why didn't you fight back that day?" the journalist asked. Jeremiah smiled. "Because I wasn't the one on trial." Dana's integrity did not go unnoticed. She became the department's first black female precinct captain. Jeremiah sent her a handwritten note. "Thank you for seeing." Harvard invited him back. "Sometimes," he said to the graduates, "you will be judged. Let your grace be louder than their hate." A bronze statue was unveiled, not of a warrior, but of a thinker. Jeremiah looked up at it, then down at the children standing beside him. The boy he'd once judged walked into his courtroom again, this time as a defense lawyer. "I became this," he said, "because of you." He sat in a library with students one last time. "Power isn't in volume," he said. "It's in purpose." They all leaned in. He penned a letter to the boy he used to be. "You will not break. You will become the hammer, and they will hear your strike." He stood over the grave of a man who taught him how to rise without hate. "You were right, Dad," he whispered. "Grace wins." "I never asked to be a symbol," he told the court. "I only asked for fairness, and in giving it, I became one." He walked the same path where it all began. This time, people didn't look through him. They looked up to him. He spoke in classrooms now, not courtrooms. "Justice," he told them, "isn't wearing a robe. It's wearing integrity." The Supreme Court painted his portrait. But Jeremiah asked for no golden frame, just truth in every stroke. The president awarded him the Medal of Service. "You made America see itself," she said, "and become better for it." A child tugged at his sleeve. Are you a superhero? Jeremiah bent down and smiled. Only if you become one too. He handed over his gavel. The robe may rest, but justice walks on. The crowd stood as one. He now tended to his garden. No headlines, no hearings. Just soil, sunlight, and peace earned over a lifetime. He passed a young man on the street being questioned. Jeremiah gently stepped in. "Officer," he said, "may I?" The officer nodded. The young man looked up, wide-eyed. "Jeremiah, son, walk with me,"